free to choose.
You are always free to choose. There is a phrase that is often heard, often said on your planet, mostly a kind of religious phrase. It's God's will. If God is all that is, why does it need to will anything? It's already experiencing everything it can be. It allows everything to be what it is because that's what it needs to be in order for all that is to be all that is. If it actually exercised will, then it would not be all that it is, because it would be forcing itself to be something, and it wouldn't be allowing itself to be what it is. It would be actually short-circuiting itself, short-changing itself by focusing too much on the need for something to be other than allowing it to be what it is. You are free, absolutely free to choose. That is your greatest gift, the greatest power you have from the unconditionally supportive and loving existence of all that is. You are free to choose. So choose. Exercise that power. Exercise that gift. You are free, absolutely free. Enjoy this meditation. Do it when it feels correct for you, but the more you do it, the greater sense of inner peace and self-empowerment you will have. Enjoy. Thank you, Nania.
Thank you, Tadeo.
In return for allowing us now to share this with you, I ask how we may continue to be of service with your questions and dialogues, if you wish to begin.
Good evening.
And to you, good day.
My question tonight is related to something you commented on last night.
Yes.
My question is to the term we comment and refer to as cell memory.
Yes.
I'm a physical therapist. I've worked with many chronic pain patients.
Yes.
And in the course of that work, I've received channeling from the causal level Michael entity,
Yes.
in which they refer to the cause as cell memory related to a past life.
Yes, of course. They're going to express it that way because
right.
that's the way you understand it
That's
in
right.
linear terms.
That's our reality. That's how we
Yes.
understand time.
Yes.
And so, but what was interesting to me is that they would say they suggest they release the cell memory, etc.
Yes.
And I had examples of, and one psychologist who had been going over the Alps during a previous life and
Yes.
the cold and whatever. He ended up with a foot problem, and he ended up because of cell frozen, et cetera, and a back problem because all the animals died and they had to carry the packages, whatever. And when
That was the story.
Yes. And when I got the channeled information, introduced that to him, and they suggested the releasing of all that and what the
Yes.
cause was,
Yes.
he recovered.
Yes. That's
And
all right because you're playing to his belief system.
So I just want you to expand a little more on this because I personally have been caught up in our current reality. I'm working really hard on knowing all is now, but...
Well, we assume you're having fun too, yes?
Yes.
All right.
Yes, I enjoy my life.
All right. So the idea, again, as we explained in last night's transmission, is not so much that there is a memory of the past, but that you're creating that in the present as a story that represents a process that aligns with your belief system, so that when you are given the proper story that aligns with the belief system, that is a story of letting go, what it will do will allow you to circumvent that story and allow you in the moment to rewire the brain to stop creating the original story and start creating a new story, a quote-unquote new memory in the moment. But it's still the same mechanism. Even if you have to deliver a story to someone, you deliver that because it aligns with the belief system in a way that will allow them to finally stop buying into that story, stop creating that memory in the moment.
Can you elaborate a little bit more how they release it?
The idea is that the brain is automatically rewired to a new pattern that then automatically generates a new story. Every change rewires the brain, no matter how small, literally, physically rewires the synapses. They start sending signals in a different pathway. First, they're this pathway, which is that story. And then when you access the belief system, they say, oh, okay, I believe you now that I can let go of that pathway and create a new pathway. They jump like a quantum leap to a new pathway. They rearrange the wiring to a new pathway that by definition, in that new configuration, can only tell a new story that generates what you would call a new memory in the present.
Okay, I understand that, but when
Yes.
I'm working with people, it's hard for them to understand.
Well, they don't have to understand that.
But let me just elaborate on something.
Yes.
Many of the occasions, the things that come up with the chronic problems are related to past lives in which they were killed in concentration camps.
But you understand they weren't.
No, right. But how do
right.
how do I communicate this to the people in terms of how they need to switch their thinking?
You don't have to. You can if you feel they are receptive to talking about the simultaneity of incarnations
yes.
and how they're just making energetic connections to those other people. And because you're doing that from a linear perspective, you translate that as a memory of a past life that was you, but it wasn't, because it isn't, because they're alive at the same time in their own reality, in their own now. You can explain all that to them if you feel they're receptive to it. But if they're not receptive to it, the way you're doing it is fine because it works with their belief system. You don't have to fix it if it's not broken, as you say.
Okay.
So find people that are receptive to it if you want to do a different modality where they have a deeper understanding of how the mechanism works. But if what you're using works, you don't have to change that.
Okay.
Yes?
It's been fabulous on how it works.
Yes, of course.
Because people don't realize or aren't
Yes.
thinking that way.
Yes. You have to speak someone's language.
Right.
Then they will understand. So if you find people who can understand a change in the language, a change in the definition and description, wonderful. But if not, you still have the techniques that will work for those people who still wish to do it in the language they already understand, and that's perfectly fine.
So if somebody has a chronic pain problem and they don't specifically have information on the origin of it, whatever,
Yes.
they don't have to have that origin.
No, they do not, as long as they understand the idea of the mechanism at work. And the ones that don't have an origin might be the ones that are more open to understanding how the mechanism itself works, because then they're not giving you necessarily the fodder for the technique that you were using originally. So
it.
they may be telling you,
Yeah.
I need another way of understanding this, and maybe then they become a candidate for explaining the mechanism and how it really works.
It's happened. Thank you.
All right, well, there you go.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, Bashar.
Andy, you good day.
I love you, man.
Our unconditional love to you as well, woman.
Thank you. So my question is very personal. My
Well, I would
firstborn-
think so because you're a person.
Yes. It's in regards to my first birth experience with my first daughter.
Yes.
I'm currently pregnant with my third.
No, all right, congratulations.
Thank you. But we had, unfortunately, a really traumatic birth
Yes.
experience, and she suffered severe brain injury.
All right.
And she's still with us. She's
Yes.
3 years old.
All right.
And she's super cute.
Yes.
Love her immensely.
Yes.
Um,
And
I
what is
just-
she here to teach you?
I don't know.
Sure you do.
I don't.
Sure you do.
'Cause
It's
we-
easy to answer.
How?
I'll ask you a question.
Okay.
Use your imagination now, yes?
Yeah.
All right. What have you learned you may otherwise not have learned had she not been that way?
Patience.
Is it really patience?
I don't know.
All right.
It
You
feels
understand
like
that
it
people
could
need
be.
patience only because they're impatient.
Right.
If you're living in the moment and you're having fun living in that moment, why do you need patience? Because nothing better than what's happening could be happening.
Right.
People need patience when they're impatient for something better to happen. But if you understand that everything that's happening right now is exactly the most important thing that could be happening, then you will stay in that moment and you won't be impatient and you won't need patience. So another way of framing the idea is, Is she teaching you to live more in the moment?
Yes.
All right. Is that important for you to learn?
Yes.
All right. So that's one thing that this relationship, this agreement is teaching you. What else might you be experiencing that maybe otherwise you wouldn't be experiencing without this relationship the way it is?
I feel sometimes that I have different types of expectations
Yes.
that takes me away from living in the moment.
All right. And so you get an opportunity to recognize that and come back into the moment.
Right.
She is an amazing teacher, isn't she?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
A very, very what you would call advanced soul.
Yes. And it's difficult though.
I beg your pardon.
It's very difficult.
I beg your pardon.
It's
We are sometimes selectively deaf to certain
Sorry.
definitions. You don't have to apologize. We're simply giving you an opportunity to change the definition because there is no such thing as an inherently difficult situation, only a definition that makes it seem so. So if you would like to lighten it up a bit and use
Okay.
the word challenge,
Okay.
that's fine. But it doesn't have to be difficult, does it?
no.
All right. You
That's
prefer that it is not difficult?
I prefer it not to be difficult.
Then do not define it that way, please.
Okay.
Because remember, you don't experience it as difficult if you don't define it that way.
Yeah.
Yes?
Right.
So the challenge, the exciting challenge that you experience is
Right.
what?
Seeing the physical suffering that she goes through.
What are you describing as suffering?
Just when she is in pain and we can't, since she's nonverbal, she can't express to us where it is or what we can do to comfort her.
And so this gives you an opportunity to extend your senses in another way in order to suss out what's actually happening in the energy field of that being. Yes?
Yes.
You can become more intuitive about that.
Yes.
May I ask you a question?
Yes.
At any time in your life, now or something you thought of doing, did it have anything at all to do with the idea of energy healing?
Well, I am also a Kundalini yoga teacher.
Ah,
So I like holding space for people to find their healing powers within.
I see. So maybe this child is helping you go to the next level of understanding exactly how to intuit exactly where energy is flowing so that you can figure out exactly what's happening with the child by extending your senses with the practice that you already understand to some degree but need to expand to a different level.
Yeah.
Yes?
Yes.
All right. So that's another opportunity for you
Yes.
from that wonderful teacher
Yes.
that you birthed who is now birthing you.
Exactly.
So, are you beginning to get a better sense of how this relationship can continue
Yes.
in a more positive way?
Yes.
Do not, I understand what you're saying when you say you recognize that the child might be in pain, but do not see the child as being in pain. You're only reinforcing the idea of the pain. See it as an opportunity to connect, to assist, to support, to extend your senses and make a bond, a connection there, enveloping both of you in an energy bubble in which you can share and commune and communicate in a different way. And as you extend your energy that you're familiar with from the Kundalini practices in a new way by forming this bubble reality that contains both of you, you will start to feel your higher mind, start to feel the communion in a different way, and you will be able to see the child reflect that by relaxing. Yes?
Yes. Makes sense.
So this is your time to practice this and extend your abilities to another level. Is this helping you?
Totally. Thank you.
You are welcome. Anything else?
Nothing else. That was it. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Hello, Bashar.
And you good day.
Yes, thank you. Thank you again for your service. What you're doing is awesome.
It is our pleasure and our passion.
And following the question of our physiotherapist friend, and I also work with bioenergetic energies and
All
kind of
right.
therapy.
All right.
And I was fascinated by last night talk about the idea of everything is happening now. So I would love for you to help me, because in my protocol I do have the connection point door as a past to treat that person.
Yes.
You made tonight, even it was so synchronicitous what she was saying, because made a lot of sense to me. But could I phrase that better if I want to
You can phrase it however it works for you.
because like you said, the idea, I don't want them to be keeping tying themselves and how they are reacting to life now as a victim of
One
the past.
moment. One moment. It's not about what you want.
No, I understand. And I meant as they're over there paying for me to treat them.
I understand.
And they're,
But I want you to understand
Mm-hmm.
a fundamental thing. It's none of your business what they do with what you give them. That's a healer's duty, to simply give them what you can, to share what you can. It's none of your business whether they use it or not. Do you understand?
yeah.
So sometimes a person will actually come to you to prove they can't be healed.
Okay.
So you're still giving them what they asked for. You follow?
Yes.
So you need to just relax a little bit about the idea that you have to be able to treat everyone in the way you think you should. Just give what you give.
Yeah.
Do the thing that you do. Share your gift. See what happens.
Yeah. No, I completely agree on
All
everything
right.
you're saying. I meant is as I use the word past, I was just asking you if you could provide a different understanding of me saying that was something that happened on the past, just as of a way of phrasing in a more evolved way.
But how would you like to phrase it?
That's why I was. That was my question, though.
I understand, but you have an imagination, yes? So what feels best to you to phrase it? How would you prefer to phrase it? If you could phrase it in any way, shape, or form, how would you prefer to phrase it?
I liked a lot the way you explained to her the idea of the idea of that treatment being related to the past is that the fact that situation reside in itself, the cure for what's happening now.
All right. How about this? We have said this before. We will say it again, and maybe this will be a linchpin for you.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
The present is not a result of the past. The past is a result of the present. Do you understand this?
No, sir.
All right. Allow us to explain.
Okay. Thank you.
You do understand that you only exist now, yes?
Yes.
And you say you understand that the past is an illusion?
Yeah, that's what I heard from you, and I'm
All right.
your past.
Because there is only now.
Okay.
There is only now. Everything exists now. Even what you call the past is just an alternate now that exists simultaneously,
Perfect.
right now.
Yes.
But the way you look at it from a linear perspective, you see it as something that already happened, even though it's actually still happening right now. So if you understand the past is just an illusion, and that's really just an alternate now, then the idea is that as you change who you are in this moment, when you become a different person, literally, every moment, with every change, you become a different person, literally. That's not a metaphor. You follow?
Yeah.
It's a literal physical reality. Because you're shifting billions of times, your consciousness is shifting billions of times per second through different parallel realities to create the illusion of time.
Yes.
All right, so if you understand that you are a different person, literally, than the moment before, so to speak, then you have to understand that that changes the history of that person. Because looking at it linearly, if you're a different person, you would have had to have a different past to have become that person.
Yes.
Do you see how that works?
Oh, yeah.
So when you change the present, you're changing the past.
That's beautiful.
You have a different history. Yes?
Yes.
Does this help?
No, unbelievable. Thank you so much.
You are so welcome.
Can I have just one more, please?
One more what?
One more question?
Well, that was a question.
Yeah.
Now you need another one, right?
Yes.
All right.
And
You don't have to ask. If you can ask, just ask.
okay, thank you.
Believe me, if it's not appropriate for you to ask, I'll let you know.
All right. I would just like your take on destiny.
On destiny,
Yes, please.
destiny and free will work hand in hand. Destiny is the idea that you sort of set up from the non-physical level, the spirit level. Again, now we're speaking linearly, yes, for
Okay,
convenience.
okay.
Before this life, you set up a theme of exploration. That's your destiny. But how you explore that theme is up to your free will as a physical being. So destiny is kind of like a hallway that you said, I'm going to walk down that hallway, down that path. That's what I need to explore right now. But I can run down the path, I can walk down the path, I can crawl down the path, I can laugh down the path, I can cry down the path, I can go backwards down the path, I can go side to side, up and down. My free will allows me to do whatever I want with the path, but walk the path I will. That's my destiny. Yes?
Yes. So
That help explain the
yeah,
relationship?
yeah. It's just because sometimes let's say I'm from Brazil.
Yes.
And sometimes when we see people and on the poverty, and it's hard sometimes to do not to feel for them. Did they choose to
Well, yes,
incarnate?
in a sense. Now, there's many ways of choosing. Sometimes remember that the choices are unconscious because of belief systems they bought into. It doesn't necessarily mean that they always planned that.
Yes.
But in the bigger picture, it still can serve a purpose.
Okay.
And it doesn't mean you can't have compassion and help them,
Okay.
because that can also be part of your shared destiny or shared agreement, but you still have to leave room for the free will of each individual, because sometimes you may find that if you attempt to help an individual that has chosen that and give them an opportunity, they may reject it anyway because that may actually not be their path.
Yes.
Yes?
Awesome.
So you can make the offer, see what happens, but then respect the path they choose.
Thank you so much.
Does that help you?
Unbelievable. Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
It's fascinating that you love to applaud yourselves so much. But you deserve it.